Every year, millions of people travel to India, and many of them leave with the same story: stomach cramps, fever, days confined to a hotel room. We've all heard of Delhi belly, but what if this isn't just about bad hygiene? And what if the same forces behind it are connected to one of the most dangerous viruses scientists are watching right now? India is a country of contrasts, ancient traditions alongside modern megacities, a cuisine celebrated worldwide for its depth, spice, and history. From rich butter curries to fiery street snacks, Indian food is a sensory experience unlike any other. It's about how the human body reacts when it's suddenly exposed to a completely different microbial world. And that same invisible system is connected to a much larger global health risk that scientists are quietly monitoring right now. This is not a story about fear. It's a story about awareness. To understand the risks, we first have to understand the culture. Indian food is not unsafe by design. In fact, traditional Indian cooking evolved as a survival system. Long before refrigeration, people relied on high heat, fermentation, oil, salt, and spices to preserve food in extreme climates. Turmeric has natural antimicrobial properties. Pickles or achar are preserved in oil and salt. Batters like dosa are fermented to improve safety and digestion. These methods worked for centuries. The challenge today is scale. In modern megacities like Delhi or Mumbai, a single street vendor may serve hundreds of people every hour. Speed becomes essential, and access to clean running water is not always guaranteed. Under these conditions, even well-intentioned vendors can struggle to maintain consistent hygiene. Studies examining certain popular street foods have found dangerously high levels of harmful bacteria, often linked to contaminated water sources. The issue is not the recipe, it's the environment in which the food is prepared. There's also the cultural practice of eating with bare hands. Traditionally, this is deeply meaningful and hygienic within a controlled home setting. But in crowded urban streets, the same practice can unintentionally allow pathogens to move directly from the environment to food. This raises an obvious question. Why can many locals eat street food daily without issue, while tourists may get sick after a single meal? The answer lies in what scientists call microbial upbringing. In much of the Western world, environments are relatively sterile. From childhood, immune systems are exposed to fewer bacterial strains. In contrast, environments like India are microbiologically rich. Local populations are exposed from an early age, allowing their gut microbiome to adapt. For visitors, the experience is very different. Their immune systems encounter unfamiliar bacteria and react aggressively, often by flushing everything out of the digestive system. What feels like food poisoning is often the body's defensive response to unfamiliar microbes. Several hidden triggers make this worse. Water exposure, not just drinking tap water, but ice cubes, washed produce, or fruit rinsed with untreated water. Cooking oil reuse. In high-demand settings, frying oil may be reused for extended periods. Heat and climate. In extreme temperatures, bacteria multiply rapidly. For most travelers, this ends in a few miserable days. But in rare cases, the consequences of these same environmental pressures can be far more serious. There is a virus with no approved vaccine, no specific cure, and fatality rates ranging from 40% to over 70% in certain outbreaks. This virus is called Nipah. Nipah is a zoonotic virus, meaning it spreads from animals to humans. Its natural hosts are fruit bats, also known as flying foxes. These bats carry the virus without becoming sick themselves, shedding it through saliva, urine, and droppings. In humans, Nipah can cause severe respiratory illness and fatal inflammation of the brain. It's important to be clear. Nipah is not transmitted through street food. The connection lies elsewhere. In parts of India, particularly regions like Kerala and West Bengal, raw date palm sap is traditionally collected overnight. The sap is sweet, and fruit bats are drawn to it. When bats drink from the collection pots, they can contaminate the sap. If that sap is consumed raw the next morning, the virus can enter the human population. This is not a hygiene failure in the usual sense. It's the result of changing boundaries between humans and wildlife. As forests are cleared for agriculture and urban development, bats lose their natural habitats and move closer to farms, orchards, and homes. The distance between wildlife and human activity shrinks, and with it, the barrier that once kept dangerous viruses contained. What makes Nipah especially concerning is that it can also spread from person to person through close contact, particularly in hospitals and family settings. Scientists warn that if the virus adapts to transmit more easily, it could pose a serious global threat. Does this mean India is dangerous? Does it mean its food should be avoided? No. India remains one of the most culturally rich societies on Earth, but like many rapidly developing regions, it sits at a crossroads of tradition, population growth, and environmental change. For travelers, stay informed, eat smart, respect the balance.